Boo to you again this year, even earlier, as details have been announced for the 2026 version of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and it's getting earlier and earlier every year. How early will it get eventually? Let's talk about it today on That Park Place Vash. This is a little ridiculous. Let's take a look here. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party returns in late summer 2026, and here's everything you need to know. On select nights starting in August, the sun sets over Cinderella Castle at Magic Kingdom, transforms into the center for all things spooky and fun. Yeah, we know what, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is. But if you look at the actual calendar for it, the first night is August 7th.
August 7th. That's so wild.
I remember a day where Mickey's Not So Scary did not start until September. When I was a kid, I used to go the last week of August, and I never saw a Halloween decoration up. Now, Halloween, that means they're going to decorate for Halloween August 1st, maybe even a little earlier. Which means
or they have to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't understand. Who wants to do Halloween in August? Do you think maybe it's a draw that'll pull people into the parks more at a time when they need it? I don't know.
Well, these extra after-hours parties have been extremely successful, right? And we know that Disney has been factoring this in, even when it comes to attendance, which is very, very interesting. I think Bro has really made some astute observations in that regard. So it benefits them greatly in order to expand these out because, well, as you know, Halloween really only falls on one night, right? So the more you keep stretching it and the more people will allow it, I mean, yeah, I guess they can do it. I remember, Marvin, being on the monorail, actually. This was 3 years ago when I was in Walt Disney World, and hearing the announcement that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party was going to take place at Magic Kingdom that night, and the words Halloween were used, and a kid next to me was like, Halloween? It's August! And yes, it was August. I think it was August in the teens there, not quite August 7th. But even that reaction was very, I think, emblematic of how a lot of consumers, I think, react to something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. But Halloween, I feel like even more than Christmas, Halloween extends back into the summer more and more and more.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I mean, to your point, I think they're going to have to start setting up decorations in July, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, not even just with Disney. It's just in life. Like, I feel like, so the people who love Halloween are an interesting sort, right? They are obsessive about it. And they'll start, getting spooky and drinking their pumpkin spice lattes and wearing their, all the way back in August. But of course, in August, it's like 90 degrees out. So who really wants to get in Halloween stuff for that? Especially those Halloween costumes. A lot of them are not very cool and comfortable to wear in the Florida summer. But then again, September is always really hot there too. So, it's kind of a trade-off, but I don't know. I don't know who's in the Halloween spirit come August. I think they're dipping in a little too much. And I think if we start seeing events not selling out, it's going to be a big deal for them. And that's where they're going to pull back. I honestly think that's what happened with Food and Wine, because they did last year pull back on Food and Wine a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, as much as the market will bear, right? And if the market doesn't actually bear this, I could definitely see them pulling back in some regard. But, it's interesting, Marvin. I've seen a slowdown in Oogie Boogie Bash ticket sales, for example, over at DCA. Right. And I was thinking, well, maybe they're going to go ahead and round this out as well. And then leading up to the event, it sells out. It sells out. It's like, okay, so, there is maybe no cap to this if they, in fact, sell out, even if it's the last minute.
Mm-hmm. But I always find it's always Halloween people where if you want to start getting in the Christmas spirit on November 1st, they're like, no, they need time to grieve for Halloween. I'm like, dude, you had 3 months of this.
Yes.
Can I tell you the thing, the last couple of years, and I've said this before on shows before, I am, by the time Halloween rolls around, by the time October 31st hits, I have been sick and tired of Halloween for 2 weeks at that point, at least. Yeah. Maybe even a month. I'm sometimes sick and tired of it by the time October rolls around, because I dive into the Halloween stuff right in the beginning of September, because that's when Halloween Horror Nights starts. And I can't imagine them moving Halloween Horror Nights that far back into August. Could you?
I don't see it. And here's the interesting thing about that, Marvin, when it comes to Halloween Horror Nights and whether or not that event is growing, which we know that there's a serious fan collective out there that is very enthusiastic about that, right? I think even more maybe than Mickey's Not So Scary. I think
HHN is massive every year.
Right. Like people purposely go to Universal just for that versus Disney. It's kind of something that augments your vacation in a lot of ways. So it's very, very interesting how that has developed. But I was recently talking to somebody about the prospect of like the Vegas experience, right? Where you have this Universal Horror Unleashed, I believe is what it's called, out there in Vegas that Universal had set up. And we were talking about, this Vegas market supporting Halloween all year round. And apparently it's just not doing well. Hours are a little wonky. They're doing some discounts now. And so even in a city like that, the appetite for year-round Halloween is simply not there. So I think you're right. Extending this out, especially in the theme park circles in the Florida area with their Halloween Horror Nights, I don't know if the market can really bear it to your point.
August 7th, right? So that's the entire, for better or worse, that's the entire month of August, right? Minus 7 days. You have August, September, October. That's 3 straight months of Halloween. That's a quarter of the year Disney is now dedicating to Halloween.
That's insane. That's absolutely crazy. But
I would never want Universal to extend HHN into August, because I am perfectly cool with where HHN starts, and it's kind of the perfect amount. And I get the frequent fear pass every year, and so I go to HHN probably almost every week during the Halloween season. So trust me, I see how crowded it is. I see what the demand there is for, but I have not seen Universal push that date back the way Disney has.
Right.
So, but like you said, Pro has talked about it before. It is those late night events, man. They are the thing that is driving a lot of that engagement right now for Disney. They're able to count park guests twice for coming to these, and it's helping to boost their numbers where they desperately need to boost their numbers. So, but you know what? Like Ken Reinhardt is saying in here, screw the day guests, because that's the other thing. When you move, when you add dates to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party like this, you are you're closing the Magic Kingdom early, so the day guests actually suffer from this.
Absolutely, in a big way. I think Ken Reinhardt is exactly 100% spot on here. We've seen closures like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Yeah. I suppose it depends on the event and how long those hours would have normally lasted for. A park like Magic Kingdom, again, this is one of the most attended theme parks in the world, and yet we're closing it early on, all of the nights that you actually see on screen right there. And
because on those days, now for the guest, it's terrible. It decreases the value of a day at Magic Kingdom if you just a single park ticket. But for Disney, they get double the gate for the day.
Yeah.
Because they get the entry, they get the, they're not charging you less to come in for a shortened day. That ticket costs the full amount, whether or not you're going from rope drop to close, or whether or not it's closing early. Like that ticket is still costing the same. And then the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party ticket is basically the same price. It might even be more the more I think about it. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party have gotten so expensive that the last step, we always would go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party as like a Christmas tradition, my wife and I. This last year, we didn't do it. We went to a full day of Epic Universe instead, and it was cheaper.
Wow, that's really profound. I mean, I want to be an Epic Universe too, to be honest with you, because it's the newest park and with the newest attractions and so forth. And if you want that Halloween vibe, well, Dark Universe definitely fits that bill. And it's interesting, Marvin, when thinking about this idea of selling the park multiple times, right? I think what we're hearing out of Epic Universe and the possibility of selling like maybe individual land experiences, corporate events being segmented within a certain portal or whatever. I think it's the approach that should be followed, generally speaking, with these kind of events, because it is so disruptive, right? You have to plan your whole vacation around, okay, when is Magic Kingdom going to close early because there's a special event actually taking place. And like you said, I mean, the price, there is some price elasticity, right? Not every single day is the same. There's dynamic pricing involved. And you would hope that you are entering Magic Kingdom on the bottom end of that price elasticity, or maybe you have an annual pass or something that gets you in. But to your point, though, it is still a full day purchase that you are making right there. So it's just a lot to take in, right? If you're an average guest. And I like the idea of closing off maybe portions of the theme park and sequestering those guests to whatever entertainment that is within those bounds. That way, you're not cut off entirely from park access. I understand there might be some park-wide events that you want to have, but with this many dates, you are looking at something that's very, very disruptive.
Yep, absolutely. So last year, they started on August the 15th, so a full week before. And 2 years ago, it started on the 9th. So it did start earlier 2 years ago. So I guess, but it seems like it's always the same, like 38 party dates. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like when you're going at like the end of July or beginning of August, you're not looking to see jack-o'-lanterns. And to be fair, it's not like Christmas, because like with Christmas, when they decorate for Christmas, it's Christmas everywhere. Like Christmas is everywhere, and Halloween is like, unless it's the party, it's just Halloween on Main Street USA. So thank goodness for that, right?
Thank goodness for that. And look, if you want to go ahead and dress up in a Halloween costume, to your point that you made earlier, in 100+ degree weather, and go to one of these events, be my guest.
Have you ever gone to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party?
I have not, at least in Magic Kingdom, but I have gone to like a Boogie Bash, for example, over at DCA. I get a little bit of that, and I was there at Walt Disney World, in which you had multiple nights that did involve Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and in that case, I was able to see a lot of costumes and so forth, and got to see a little bit of the lines for the event itself that usually occurs right at the start of the mix-in right there. I mean, that whole area in front of Magic Kingdom completely filled with people. So there is certainly a fervor when these things happen. There's no question about that. But really, I mean, 38 nights out of 365, Marvin, that's 10% of the year. Yeah. So it's like, it's for an event that usually takes place once a day, which is Halloween. This is a little excessive. I will say though, Marvin, when it comes to the merch as well, when they launch the stuff, I believe it's like the halfway the Halloween point is when they bring out their merchandise line. At least at Disneyland, we covered a story, I think it was on that Pod Place a little while ago, of all of these gals that were just storming the various shops around the Disneyland resort. I think that was the Wonderground shop or the large one in Disney Springs or Downtown Disney. Which one is that called again? Walt Disney, I believe.
Yes, completely. Like
it was completely taken up by gals that were looking to get those merchandise offerings and so forth, and of course a lot of the shops in Disneyland itself. It was crazy to see because they were just clawing at each other trying to get this merch. So certainly there is enough to support it. To this extent, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, guys, we will see. How early in the season Walt Disney World will be saying boo to you.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.